Happy Thursday, everyone. I'm Kevin. Welcome to Verbum Day, where I share with you my thoughts and reflections on today's gospel. So today's gospel is found in the book of St. Matthew. It is chapter 7, verses 7 through 12. It's a very interesting short gospel, commonly referred to as Ask, Seek, Knock. It's a teaching on petitioning God, and I find it very interesting. It's often misunderstood, and I hope that my thoughts and reflections can bring some insight to you today. So here we go. I'll read starting in verse 7. Ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks the door will be opened. Which of you, if your son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a snake? If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. All right, so I just have a few thoughts here. First of all, this is on the surface, this is a confusing gospel because all of us have asked many, many, many times for things that we did not receive, right? So what could Matthew be talking about? Now, I believe that there are some context clues here, okay? First, look where this is located. This passage is located right on the heels of St. Matthew, of Jesus teaching not to judge others, the whole plank in your brother, in your eye versus splinter in your brothers, and all of that, and doing unto others, and basically being someone who doesn't judge and freely forgives. So then on the heels of that, we have the ask, seek, and knock. I believe the context is everything here, that I think that Jesus knows it is very, very, very hard for us to walk in mercy with our brothers and sisters sometimes. And so that's what he is saying here for us to ask of him. So he says, if you ask me to be able to do this with your brother or your sister, I'll give it. If you seek an ability to walk without judgment, you'll find it. And if you'll knock, I will open the door of your heart and give you a tender heart and disposition towards your brother and or sister. Now, you may not buy that. You may be thinking that this is for a pink Cadillac or what have you. God bless you. I hope you get your pink Cadillac. But the other clue I think is here. There's two more that I'll point out. What does he go to next? He goes to the analogy of us and our children asking for things and us giving it to them. So he first says, well, who among you that if your son asks for bread would give him stone, or asks for fish would give him a snake, right? So the point here is that the child is asking for something from the father that they need to sustain them, okay? And we know to give that to our kids. So he says, you then, even though you're evil, now just so you know, the word evil there means like full of labors. And matter of fact, I have it right here on my computer. Let me read to you what it means in Greek, because I'm like, evil? Really? All right, Jesus. Full of labors, annoyances, hardships, pressed and harassed by labors, bringing toils, annoyances, perils, of a time full of peril to Christian faith and steadfastness, causing pain and trouble. So, that sounds like me on a Thursday, right? Full of annoyances, hardships, pressed and harassed by labors. I bring toils and annoyances sometimes, right? It doesn't mean, however, we are evil, despicable people that, follow, the Lord of darkness. So it's saying, so if you are full of all this toil and all of these labors, right, and annoyances, and to give your child what they need to sustain and grow them, well, how much more do I know what to give you, and how much more willing? And then the third key to me that this goes with judging others and relating to others and forgiving and all of that is the last part of the gospel. It says, So in everything you do, right, do to others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. Basically, Jesus is saying here that do to others what you would have them do to you is love your neighbor as yourself, right? So if you look at all three of those context clues, to me, it's pretty clear anyway, or at least it's definitely a way we could go in understanding and breaking down this gospel, that the gift that Jesus is telling us to ask for is of pure heart, towards our brother and sister. And then if you keep going, actually, next is like the little section on narrow and wide gates, and it says, enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. And man, if that doesn't describe walking in peace and shalom with my brothers and sisters instead of judgment and strife and discord and bitterness and resentfulness and envy and jealousy, that is a narrow gate to walk in love and to walk in a lack of judgment and to walk in total forgiveness. Now, last reason why I will tell you that I think that's what Jesus is telling us here, or at least, look, I have the phone, so I win. How many great friends do you have? I'll pause for a minute while you think. Right? It's like, how many people do you know is your ride or die? You can call at 3 a.m. And by the way, we say that like, I could call them at 7 p.m. a.m. Central Mountain and ask for $7 billion and they would be there. Okay, right? It's kind of like, I would take a bullet for you. Well, look, Chief, I don't need you to die for me. I need you to live for me. And that's the question. How many friends do you have that day in, day out, support you, love you, pray for you, bear the weight of sin with you, hold your stuff and let you hold theirs, and show you who they are completely and wholly, and that most importantly, they know you fully and accept you? How many do you know? Well, I'll end on this. Instead of being discouraged by that number, what we can all do is stop right now and say, Holy Father, thank you that we all have one for sure, and that is you. Grace and peace be with y'all.